If you've ever felt broken, if you've ever looked at your life and thought, this is the end, then stay with me, because this story might just be the reason you stand back up. Because this is not just a story. This is proof that no matter how far you've fallen, you can rise again, not through luck, not through miracles, but through one thing: discipline of the mind. His name was Mark. He wasn't a rich man, but he was a happy one. A steady job, a small house, a wife who loved him, and a son who thought the world of him. Weekends were for backyard barbecues, baseball games, and family dinners filled with laughter. He believed his life was safe, secure, untouchable. But life doesn't ask before it breaks you. It just takes. It started at work. Mark walked in one morning, coffee in hand, same routine he had done for years. Whispers in the hallway, nervous meetings behind closed doors. And then he was called into his boss's office. The words hit him like a hammer. "We're downsizing. I'm sorry, but your position is terminated." Just like that. Years of loyalty vanished in a single sentence. He walked out carrying a cardboard box, his nameplate, a photo of his family, and the pieces of a life that no longer existed. At first, Mark thought it was temporary. He told his wife, "Don't worry, I'll find something soon." But days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Job application after job application, rejection after rejection. His wife tried to stay supportive. She cooked dinners, encouraged him, said, "We'll get through this." But slowly, the warmth in her voice faded. Bills piled up on the kitchen table, late notices, overdue payments, final warnings. The lights in their home dimmed, and so did the love in his marriage. He'd sit at the kitchen table late at night, staring at overdue notices, while his wife sat silently across from him. No words, just tension, just distance. Nights turned into arguments. His son stayed awake in his room, hugging his pillow, listening through the walls. And the man who once laughed the loudest now sat in silence at the dinner table. The blinds were closed. The fridge was empty. The air smelled of stale beer. They fought at night when their son was asleep. He shouted. She cried. And their boy sat quietly in his room, hugging his pillow tight. His wife couldn't take it anymore. One night she packed her bags, and when he begged her not to go, she whispered through tears, "I can't raise our son in this misery." The door shut, and with it went the last piece of his heart. And just like that, the man who once provided, protected, and promised was left in an empty apartment. The silence was deafening. No footsteps, no laughter, no "Dad, play with me." Just silence. Mark tried to numb the pain. A bottle became his best friend. He stopped answering calls, stopped opening blinds. Days blurred into nights. He would lie on the floor, staring at the ceiling, wondering how everything slipped away so fast. And every time he closed his eyes, he heard his boy's voice echoing in his head. "Dad, you're my hero." But he didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a failure. He knew heroes don't drink themselves to sleep. Heroes don't give up. And yet, that's exactly who he had become. One freezing night, he sat in his car outside a gas station, hands shaking, tears blinding his eyes. For the first time, he thought of ending it. Just one decision, and the pain would be over. He reached into his glove box, but his hand brushed against something. It was a crumpled drawing, a stick figure of him holding hands with his son, with messy letters scribbled across the top. "Me and Daddy." His body shook. He broke down, sobbing into his hands. And for the first time in months, he whispered to himself, "If I can't fight for me, then I'll fight for him." The next morning, he made a choice. No more alcohol, no more hiding, For the first time in months, he opened the blinds. Sunlight poured in, and with it, discipline was born. The next morning, he set his alarm for 5 a.m. When it rang, every cell in his body screamed to stay in bed. But he stood up. Just one act of discipline. He laced up old sneakers and ran, half a mile, out of breath. But he ran. Day after day, he kept showing up. No alcohol, no excuses, no running from pain. He started journaling, writing his goals, his fears, his promises, and slowly, his mind began to heal. Each day, he hammered discipline into his bones. It wasn't easy, but it was survival. Some days, he wanted to give up. His friends didn't believe in him. His wife didn't come back. Jobs never came. He faced rejection after rejection at job interviews. Mark would walk home, head down, wallet empty. But every time life pushed him down, he whispered, "Discipline, discipline, discipline." He trained his mind like a soldier trains for war. No matter how loud the demons screamed inside, he showed up. Until one night, staring at nothing, he muttered to himself, "If no one will hire me, I'll hire myself." He sold the last things he owned, his old guitar, his TV, whatever he had left. With that money, he bought second-hand tools. In the basement of his apartment, he started making wooden furniture. The first chair he built was crooked, the second wobbly. But he didn't quit. He kept shaping, sanding, hammering, day after day, night after night. His hands blistered, bled, healed, and bled again. He posted online. He knocked on neighbors' doors. He delivered furniture in the back of a rusty pickup truck. And slowly, order by order, people began to notice. What kept him alive wasn't luck. It wasn't talent. It was discipline. 2 years later, the man who once had nothing, who once drowned in silence, stood outside a small store. Above the door, in bold letters, was his own name, M-A-R-K. Inside, rows of handcrafted furniture, beautiful, strong, built with blood and pain. Customers filled the room. His work was admired, valued, loved. And then, through the crowd, he saw him, his son, standing in the doorway with wide eyes pointing to his mom, whispering, "That's my dad. He built this." Mark felt his chest tighten. Tears welled up, because in that moment, he realized he hadn't just built a business. He had rebuilt himself. Life will break you. Friends will leave. Dreams will shatter. Hope will fade. But if you discipline your mind, you can rebuild anything. Your tragedy does not define you. Your discipline does. So when life takes everything from you, don't surrender. Stand up, fight back, and remember this. When the storm comes, don't pray for it to pass. Train your mind to fight through it. Because once you master your mind, you master your destiny. Because the greatest thing you will ever build isn't a career, isn't a business. It's the man or woman you become when you refuse to give up.